Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alison, the online piano and online violin tutor. Now today I'm going to tell you how to hold a violin bow, or I'm going to tell you how I hold a violin bow. There are many different ways that you can hold a violin bow. They're all right, none of them are wrong, they're just kind of slightly different variations on how to do it. So if I'm slightly different to the way you've been taught, that's fine, as long as you can do all of the hand movements and all that kind of thing, it isn't going to be a problem. Before I go any further, I just want to tell you about my 1 to 30 violin course, which is an amazing violin course that I know so many of you that watch my videos and visit my channel don't even know that I've got. So if you are a beginner violinist and you are looking for a course, or you've just been looking around videos on the internet trying to just figure out this instrument and what to do with it, I've got a dedicated 1 to 30 violin course that I'm going to tell you about now. So my 1 to 30 violin course is the first online and interactive course of its kind that 100% guarantees to take you from a complete beginner to a very decent, accomplished intermediate player. It's comprised of 30 lessons with 5 PDF tutorial and songbooks, and the whole course is completely online and downloadable. So the course will start off by taking you through the very basics, from how to hold the violin and how to hold the bow. Then you'll start to play simple exercises just to get you going. You'll be learning how to read music, and then you will finish off by learning a proper piece of music with a piano backing track. And that's just in the first 10 lessons. The beauty of this course is that the first 10 lessons are absolutely free, along with all the PDF printouts and all the materials that you might need. This is going to give you an idea of my teaching style and really to see how fast that you're going to learn with my 1 to 30 violin course before you commit to the rest of it. The course is priced at $59.99 US, and this is a one-off payment. It's a really cheap course when you think about it. If you were to hire a private music teacher or have weekly lessons, you know, they'd be costing you, what, in the UK, about anywhere between sort of 20 and 30 pounds an hour. In the US, you know, maybe an average of $50, sometimes more, depending on whether you're in a big city or not. So my course really is like having a one-time payment for a teacher. As I said, the course is 100% downloadable, and it is literally available to anyone, anywhere, no matter where you are in the world. This course really is the enchilada of all violin courses, and the link to the free first 10 lessons and all materials needed to get yourself started right now will be linked directly below this video. Okay, so holding a violin bow, it's very easy actually, it's not that difficult. First thing you need to do is make sure that you can see this little kind of gap of wood in your violin bow there. So you've got kind of the plastic winding, it might be silver, it might be black like mine, and then you've got the frog, which is just this black piece here. But there should be an exposed piece of wood in between the frog and this plastic winding, and that is where you're going to be putting your thumb. So your thumb is going to be going into that kind of gap there. Hopefully that is coming out on camera. Now, the thumb needs to be bent at all times. Now, the second thing you're going to do is take the middle 2 fingers. And again, this is the way I hold the bow. So you're going to take the middle 2 fingers, keeping your thumb bent, and you're going to put them either side of that thumb, so the thumb is poking down. But what you notice is at the very ends of my fingers, my fingertips are more or less down as far as the hair. So what I'm saying is that they're not up here, they're not there, they're down as far as the hair, and maybe a little bit more actually. I can't actually twist my hand around a full 360 degrees to show you, but basically my fingertips are just hanging almost slightly just below that hair. So that's how low we want to be. Basically, the wood of the bow that you've got here, I like to hold just about there. So you've got the first bend in your finger there, you've got the main bend in your finger there, and I'm kind of in the middle of that, I would say. So that's where I am. Now, with your index finger, the main bend here that you've got in your index finger, sorry, in the middle there, that wants to be tilted on that bow. I know my fingers look very weird now, but it will all come together in just a second. I'm just kind of breaking it down for you so that you understand where your fingers are supposed to be. You'll also note that I'm very tilted. Again, I'll tell you why that is in just a second. So we've got our thumb bent. We've got our middle two fingers quite far down actually. That allows us to prop the index finger, that main knuckle in that index finger, on the wood of the bow there. Then we're left with our little finger just kind of hanging about here, doing whatever it wants to do, but it can just gently perch on the piece of wood there. Now, the little finger actually isn't doing anything. It's not bent, it doesn't need to do anything because we've tilted, because we've slanted, because it's all in that index finger there. That is the key. So you can see that my index finger is more or less kind of sideways, maybe at a sort of a 30-degree angle. That allows my little finger to just perch itself and just hang on the end there. So it isn't doing anything, it's just kind of perching itself there. The other thing you'll notice as well is that it isn't on the end, it isn't on the piece that you wind your bow up with or tighten and loosen your bow up with. It is just sitting just slightly in front of that. Okay, now there are some varying different bow holds. You've got a German bow hold, a Russian bow hold, and the Franco-Belgian bow hold. Now, my bow grip is a hybrid between the Russian bow grip and the Franco-Belgian bow grip. Now, the Franco-Belgian is a little bit more, very similar to how I've told you. I mean, they're all, you know, thumb in the middle, two fingers over, index finger, you know, it's all pretty much the same. It's all a likeness, but there just are a few variations. Now, the Franco-Belgian is where your fingers are slightly more upright. Mine are very tilted, it's upright, and your wrist is a little bit more upright. The Russian bow hold is going to be a lot more tilted like that. So it's actually, I think the Russian bow hold is even more tilted, and I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, that the fingers can be slightly closer together. Now, my bow hold is based on the Franco-Belgian. However, I like to do the tilt of the Russian just because mainly it suits my little finger. Now, when you've got your bow hold, it doesn't matter whether you're tilted or you're upright like the Franco-Belgian. You'll notice as well the little finger is a lot more bent with the Franco-Belgian. Again, I don't like that. It just doesn't suit my hands. I've never played like this, so to me this is kind of a bit alien, a bit foreign. But everything, the hand is just a lot more upright and the fingers are just a lot more bent together. You can see the little finger is bending. I'm not doing a very good job of this because this is kind of this is properly out of my norm for me. I guess it's what it's like for you guys when you first learn to hold the bow. It's a bit weird, so I can totally appreciate it. So this is kind of the Franco-Belgian, and I, you know, obviously I don't like it because it isn't how I've been holding the bow for the last 36 odd years. But the one thing that you should notice with both of these bow holds is that you should be able to bend, and you should be able to do something like this. Now, you won't be able to do this kind of movement, but you can see where I'm kind of moving my fingers in straight away as newbies, so don't worry about that because it's more of an advanced technique, so you'll need to get used to holding the bow initially. But what you will notice is that when you're holding, no one part of the hand is taking more pressure than the other. Sorry, my arm is aching holding up the video. No one part of the hand is taking on more weight than the others. No one finger is taking more weight on the bow than the others. The little finger should certainly not be taking any more weight. However, your little finger acts as your counterweight, especially in the Russian. So if this is the bow without holding it, the little finger will just help to balance that out. So yes, it feels like the bow wants to drop down. When I put my little finger on, it brings it up and it sort of balances it out. But it's not the be all and end all. I could actually play quite happily without my little finger. In fact, I just have the little finger there just to help counterbalance, so the bow doesn't want to feel, you know, it's almost like a weight pulley system. So it doesn't want to feel like the bow is dropping. And the final thing is that once you think you've got your bow grip, if you feel like you're going to drop the bow, you've done it. You've got a good bow grip. If you feel like you're not going to drop the bow, then maybe just reposition and try again. So feeling like you're going to drop the bow but not dropping the bow is good, because I appreciate that it does kind of feel like that. I guess if I do it with my left hand, see, I want to tilt with my left hand as well. I just kind of instinctively want to do it. So this is me holding the bow with my left hand that I've never I've never really done before, but this is kind of, again, this is sort of, you know, something very similar to what you guys would kind of expect, but make sure that everything is loose. I see a lot of people with kind of banana hands and very rigid hands. So even though you are holding the bow like this, you want your fingers to be nice and loose. So you just put the bow up, position them, and there it is. So I could very easily drop the bow like I just did there, but that's how lightly I'm holding the bow. I see a lot of people holding the bow correctly in a lot of videos when I have a look at them on YouTube, but I can see that it's like this. Everybody's hands is very rigid, so it's kind of right, but it's very rigid, and I know it's very rigid because you can just see the stiffness in the hand. That means when they're bowing, they're going to be bowing like this. They're going to be bowing as a whole unit. So, you know, I appreciate it's quite difficult. It's quite hard to do. It's very similar to, I suppose, if I was playing with my left hand, because I'm not quite used to what the tippy tips of my fingers are doing. I am so worried about dropping the bow that I want to just grip the bow so that I'm not going to drop the bow. But just always bear in mind that it needs to be soft and it needs to be loose. So if you've got your fingers positioned correctly, you can hold your bow very lightly. I can assure you that I am literally seconds away from dropping this bow out of my hand. Can you see? I mean, I'm just literally going to drop the bow. But you've got to remember that when the violin is on the shoulder, and you're like this, you're not going to drop the bow. You might feel like you're going to drop the bow here. Yes, of course you are, because there's no resistance, there's nothing there. But as soon as your bow is on the violin, you're not going to drop it. That is your counterweight here, and everything is going to be fine. So I hope that has helped you, and thank you very much for watching. I will put a link to my 1 to 30 violin course directly underneath this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.